Hello and welcome. Let me ask you something. How often do you think about how you use your brakes? Well, truth be told, most drivers don't. They just press the pedal when they need to slow down. But here's the fact. Most of them are using their brakes wrong, which makes driving jerky, wears out brakes faster, and increases the chances of accidents. So today, I'll show you the correct way to use your brakes, why common habits are wrong, and how good drivers brake differently, without driving slower. Once you understand this, driving will feel smoother almost immediately. The most common mistake is late braking. This is something many drivers do. Wait until the last moment and then slam the brakes. While some do this because they reacted too late, others may think this makes them decisive or efficient. In reality, late braking means poor anticipation, less control and, in effect, more stress. Slamming the brakes in the very last moment, just before you need to make a turn or stop at a traffic light, makes your driving unpredictable and hazardous. As a result, you're far more likely to get rear-ended by a vehicle behind. If you're constantly surprised by red lights, corners, or slow traffic, the issue isn't the road. It's that you're not paying attention enough. To be a better driver, you need to focus on the road and traffic ahead, read what's happening, and predict when you need to slow down or stop. And when that is needed, do it gradually. Ease off the throttle, let the car slow down on its own, and gently apply brakes when necessary. The second bad habit is harsh braking. And by that, I mean stepping on the brake without any feel every time you want to slow down, as if the pedal is nothing more than a switch. This causes sudden weight transfer, where the front wheels are quite likely to lock up, which increases stopping distance and makes the vehicle hard to control. This is especially true when driving on a slippery road, such as when it's raining or snowing. Sure, most cars today have ABS, whose sole purpose is to prevent the wheels from locking up, but if it comes on almost every time you hit the brakes, you're doing it too aggressively. In addition, hard braking and consequent back and forth jerking makes passengers uncomfortable and even nauseous, especially those sitting in the back. And trust me, that's something you want to avoid, because if someone shows up in your car, guess who's going to end up cleaning it? The proper way to brake is to do it progressively. At first, press the brake pedal lightly, and then gradually increase pressure to achieve a desired stopping effect. Finally, when you're done braking, smoothly ease off the brake pedal. This last step, easing off the brakes, is important for ride comfort because it prevents jerky stops and head nodding that makes your driving look and feel bad. The next mistake is a big one: braking in corners. Some drivers do it because they have gotten into the corner too fast, so they want to shave off some speed. Others might even do it intentionally, thinking that makes them faster. Either way, this is very dangerous to do. The thing is, when you slam on the brakes while going through a corner at speed, the inertia causes the car to shift its weight toward the front. As a result, you'll have less weight over the rear axle, which may cause the rear wheels to lose grip. And because you're turning at the moment, your car will most likely kick its tail out and start to spin if that happens. So what you want to do is brake before the corner and slow down to a speed that feels safe to tackle it. When you start turning the steering wheel, release the brake smoothly, let the car roll into the corner, and once you're halfway through it, start pressing the throttle lightly. And even if you find yourself in a situation where you must brake in a corner, say it's much tighter than you thought, Don't slam on the brakes. Do it progressively. Good braking sets the car up for the next move. If corners feel stressful, the problem usually has happened before the turn. Coming in at number 4 is riding the brakes, which is when you keep your foot on the brake pedal all the time. The typical scenario would be driving on a long downhill, where you use the brakes to control the vehicle's speed and prevent it from accelerating too much. It may seem perfectly fine, but it isn't. First off, riding the brakes significantly increases brake wear because the pads and rotors will quickly heat up. But even more importantly, brakes that get too hot might start to fade, which dramatically reduces their ability to stop the car. You've probably seen those videos from highways where a truck can't stop and ends up on a runway ramp. That's usually caused by brake fade. And trust me, that can happen in a car too, especially when it's loaded with heavy luggage or towing a trailer. To avoid this, use your engine to control the car's speed. Lift your foot off the throttle and let it coast down the road. And if that's not enough, shift into a lower gear. Higher revs will boost the engine's braking capability. You don't have to worry about the consumption. With no throttle, the engine uses virtually no gas at all. And if you have to brake to slow down, don't keep your foot on the pedal for too long. Brake a bit harder and shorter. Lastly, we have braking when it's actually not needed. The perfect example of this would be cruising down the highway, noticing that you're speeding and slamming the brakes to slow the car down. That's just bad driving at its core, because by doing so, you're confusing the drivers behind you, who will also brake when they see your brake lights on, often very suddenly, which then creates build-ups and can even lead to crashes. So don't use your brakes to control the speed. If you're too fast, ease off the throttle and let the vehicle slow down on its own. On a highway, set the cruise control on, monitor the traffic and speed limits up ahead, and adjust your pace accordingly to avoid getting too close to the car in front of you. By doing so, there's a good chance you practically won't have to brake at all for most of your trip. Not only does this make your driving smoother and safer, but it also reduces brake and tire wear. Most drivers don't use their brakes dangerously, just inefficiently. Fixing this one skill makes driving safer, smoother, and more enjoyable. If this video helped you, hit like, subscribe for real driving advice, and comment if braking is something you struggle with. Bye!